Welcome back to the Culture of Currency, where yes, today we're getting into more silver series from around the world. This is the geographical area of the Caribbean, so we're looking mostly at the Lesser Antilles, but there are a handful outside of that, and most of these are in the EC8 series. As you can see right here, the EC of EC8 stands for Eastern Caribbean, because these are basically nations of the Eastern Caribbean, of the Lesser Antilles, that are covered under the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the ECCB. And this series right here is usually lower on the premium scale, and it is always 25,000 minted. So in my mind, it's one of the best series if you're going to start collecting silver, because it's only 8 coins a year and you can get those pretty easily. So in my mind, it's one of those that you definitely want to look into if you are starting your journey, or if you're just looking for another series to collect. The ECC8 basically looks like this, the obverse having the laurel branches. I believe these are palm, but I don't know because I don't remember. But they have replaced a monarch right here with letters ECCB for the new year, and that I think has to do with the transition between the queen and the king. But basically, that's the only difference that I've ever seen in the obverse. The reverse obviously is different, because every year, not only is each nation have a different depiction on it, but they also change each year. So let's go ahead and get into some coins. We'll start here, I guess. So obviously this one is a ECC8 coin, or EC8. And this is St. Kitts and Nevis. You will really know, based on this video, that I have a unhealthy obsession with the seabird that is known as the pelican. This is a pelican that's flying over one of their popular harbors, and I love the little details in the background. You can only see them if you're paying attention, such as the clouds, but they are just fantastic. One of my first coins ever right here. It's 2018. Next, another EC8 coin. This is from a different nation. This is St. Lucia, and these are a pair of flamingos, as you can see. I lost a bet early on in my YouTube career, and so therefore my wife got to pick my coins for that month, and this was one of her selections. It is a 25,000 minted coin, as all these EC8s are. Up next, another EC8 coin, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I have videos over every single one of these, by the way, so if you see one, you're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, and you want to learn about the nation and or the actual coin, go to the video I made over it, and you will be blessed. Really beautiful here. I love the simplicity. Sometimes simple is better. Less is more. I have 2 from the next nation. Both are EC8. Let's focus. There we go. This is Grenada, which is apparently where they make the majority of the nutmeg for the entire world. So if you are a fan of nutmeg, this is probably where it's coming from. One of my favorite Caribbean coins right here, and that has to do with the way the rippling in the background plays with the light. It's really hard to see it unless you're in person, but I think you can get a good idea based on this camera. You also have the reef life here. Really cool. It is a world-renowned diving place, and so this is the Silver Diver, which obviously pays homage to that. Next, from Grenada, we've got another Caribbean favorite, and the octopus. This is a Caribbean reef octopus, as you see down here, which I absolutely love, because as you'll notice later, sometimes people get the species wrong, and in this case they did not. They actually labeled it, and it is a good depiction of it. The octopus plays a heavy role in the cuisine and culture down there, so this is a really cool coin to have. Next nation is actually not in the EC8. This is the BVI, British Virgin Islands, and what's really cool about this coin and or series, this is the Pegasus, is that they come reverse cameo. They're low mintage, and if you can see right here, there's a little bitty P, and that's because this is a Popjoy Mint coin. And that's very important, because as of a few months ago, the Popjoy Mint, which is historic, has finally shuttered its doors, and so these will not be issued out, at least by them, anymore. So I don't know if that means the British Virgin Islands is going to get out of the bullion game, or if somebody's going to have to pick up the slack. But this is one that I would say collectors for years have definitely blown some cash over. Beautiful coin in a really cool nation. Here's another one from the British Virgin Islands. This is another series that was worth collecting, and it has a ship on it. This is the Santa Maria. So if you know your history, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria were some of the ships that came over in the colonization of America. And they have some beautiful coins honoring that. I know that anytime we put a boat on a coin, they seem to have huge value, because collectors go crazy for them, and this is no exception. It's beautiful, and now it's kind of by itself now that the Pobjoy Mint is defunct. Here is one of the coolest out there. This is a Cayman Islands coin. Look at the water in the background. Isn't that just gorgeous? So this is, like we said, the Cayman Islands. So this is a good piece of silver to remind you that people like to do nefarious things and hide their money, but that's, a conversation for a different time. It is a gorgeous coin. I absolutely love this coin. And if you take a look here, this is the Silver Marlin. It is fantastic. This is one that doesn't really change, at least not much, every year that I could remember. But it has always been one of my favorites. One of my first coins, actually, that I picked up. And it is just fantastic. The rippling and the legend, all of the elements of this make it to be one of my favorite Caribbean coins for sure. Next, we go back to an ECA classic. Dominica, or as some people say, Dominica. I am not from there, so I don't know which one exactly. This one just reminds me of one of those classic 1950s postcards. And that's something that coins should, in fact, be, is something that when you look at it, you're reminded of something beautiful of a nation or a reason to go visit. And in this case, we have right there in this bird, the Cicero parrot. That's what this coin is named. And there's reason for that. The Cicero parrot is only found on this island. So if you want to go and see one of these beautiful grayish, purplish, greenish parrots, then this is where you need to go. It is gorgeous. And this is a really, really cool coin. It really gives you the vibe of the Caribbean. Next, we have two coins. They're EC8 coins, of course. And we're talking about Montserrat. As you can see, one of the best fish depictions that we've ever had in coins. Highly detailed. Scales are fantastic. There is one issue, though. This is what we call the blue-girdled angelfish. And the blue-girdled angelfish is native to the Indo-Pacific, which is about directly on the other side of the world. There are plenty of angelfish in Montserrat, such as the French angelfish, and yet they chose this one. And so, that being said, I never quite got it. I think species matter, and that because they have beautiful fish in Montserrat, they just chose the wrong one. I never quite could follow that, but it is just a fantastically beautiful coin. I love it. Next from Montserrat, my first Montserrat coin right here. And if you don't know any history about Montserrat, it really opened my eyes to the monarchy and the importance of being in the Commonwealth for these people. So Montserrat, as you can see in the background here, has a volcano, and that volcano erupted. In fact, Montserrat was kind of a place. This is the Montserrat Oro, by the way. It's only found there. But Montserrat was a kind of tourist attraction place. The Beatles had a recording studio there, so on and so forth. But eventually, it got to the point where this volcano here blew up, and a quarter of the island basically was taken out, and there was a mass exodus. And at that time, the Commonwealth, which was England right there, England said, hey, we're your protectorate. If you would like, come on over to England and we will grant you citizenship as an equal citizen here, which I thought was fantastic, and somebody actually putting money where their mouth is. It's easy to say, we'll do this if this happens, but as we saw, be it in Ukraine or other places around the world, sometimes when you have changes in leadership, you don't quite hold the word of the predecessor. So that does happen at times. This is an example of people holding their word and their honor, and they saved a bunch of people from the island of Montserrat. So a really cool story there. Next, let's go to Barbados. Barbados, well, we'll go there last because Barbados is my favorite nation of these Caribbean islands when it comes to silver coins. So we'll do that last. All right, so here is a nation that I have my qualms with, and not necessarily the nation, just the design of these coins, as you will see. Beautiful lobster. I would not have a problem with this coin, except for this is a North Atlantic lobster and not a Caribbean species. We would be looking for a slipper lobster or a spiny lobster, which does not have these big claws, and the antennas do not look like that. This is an obvious North Atlantic lobster, so they chose the wrong species again, but boy, is it beautiful. Anguilla, I'm sure it's not your fault. Here's another one from Anguilla. And this is the eel, which, I kind of go back and forth on. Is it the right species of eel? To my knowledge, no. This looks like Anguilla, which means eel. So it kind of makes sense. This is a European eel because the explorers, when they saw this island, they said, hey, that looks like an eel, except for they said it probably in Spanish. And so the cartographers, after looking at that, named the island Eel, which is Anguilla. And so that's how they get their name. But they did choose the wrong species of eel here. But that's the species that they would have known because eel is actually a big part of cuisine over in that area. So I'm not necessarily too disappointed in that. And it is a fantastically beautiful coin. You do get the playfulness of the Caribbean. You see a few palm trees here on the island. But yeah, beautiful. And another coin from Anguilla right here. We have just their coat of arms, which is 3 dolphin doing dolphin things of some sort. Pretty cool overall. So you just saw 3 examples of how year over year you expect different designs, which makes this a really fun series to collect. Next we'll go here to Antigua and Barbuda. They have a beautiful selection of coins. This is the only one I currently have. However, I thought about ordering another one. This is the Rum Runner. And you see this boat right here doing rum runner things among the ocean. Beautiful. So they basically use this as a transport vessel for their beautiful rum. As you know, the Lesser Antilles became a place where slave labor was brought over for the sugarcane plantations and other things like that, creating things like rum. And in the 1830s, when the English colonies were done with slavery, those people ended up inhabiting the island as free people, and now the majority of people in these islands are of African descent. Next, we have the Bahamas. This was actually sent to me by a fantastic viewer who decided I needed it, and I am ever thankful for that. This is a more vintage variety, as you can see. And we have 2 flamingos, 1970. I was not even born yet. Can you believe that? I'm an 80s baby. Beautiful coin. This one is in 925 silver, as that was a very popular thing back in the day to do. Gorgeous coin from the Bahamas. And up next, we have a stack of coins from the nation of Barbados. I, for some reason, have an infatuation with Barbados. It is my favorite nation of the Caribbean when it comes to bullion coins and how cool their flag looks. But I would say the diversity of their bullion coins and the quality of their bullion coins leads me to say that it is my favorite. If I had to only collect from one nation in the Caribbean, it would be Barbados, and you'll see why. Up first, you'll notice we have an interesting coat of arms. There's not a queen here, and that's because they separated from the monarchy, which is why, by the way, their flag, which has a trident that's broken, it's why that's there. The broken trident means that, yes, we honor Britannia, right? The trident that Britannia carries, but we also have broken away from it. So it kind of gives you an idea behind that flag. Here we have, once again, a pelican. Sorry, but I love them. Beautiful coin, also obviously low mintage. Here's a coin a viewer gave me from Barbados from 1973, which is fantastic because it's not too far from when they got their independence. You see the broken trident over here. And we have Fish Pants himself, Mr. Poseidon or Neptune, whichever one you prefer. Over here with a Mahi Mahi, which is fantastic because if you notice right here, this is more of a ancient depiction, not ancient, I shouldn't say that, more of a, let's say, Renaissance depiction of the dolphin or Mahi Mahi, one you would have seen on maps and things like that. And this is more of a classical approach, getting scale and form correct. Beautiful fish, and they taste delicious, by the way. But we do notice that Poseidon over here is in fish pants rather than having an actual fish tail. He has 2 legs. So that's interesting and probably makes it easier to sit on a couch. Here we are, another Barbados coin. By the way, that one, I don't know if I said, that last Barbados coin was sent by a viewer as well, the same one that sent me the flamingo. So we have the best viewers in the world here at the Culture of Currency, so thank you so much. This one is the octopus. Check that guy out. I believe this is a 20,000 or 15,000, somewhere in there, minted coin. Gorgeous, gorgeous overall. Barbados does its thing. You'll even notice the rippling in the water behind the octopus. It's just fantastic. Let's keep it moving. Another Barbados classic. And many of these are series, by the way. The seahorse. Barbados again. And we have the green monkey. These monkeys were brought over, some say on accident, by African slave ships, and they have a established population, and they're the only place, I believe, in the Caribbean where you can find them. Here's their calling card, and it is obviously the trident. And if you happen to have one of these, they have a little pineapple right on the side. That's a privy, and it's a beautiful privy at that, but it means that this has a much more lower vintage variety. The one I'm holding, I believe, is 25,000. I believe the privy one is 10, maybe even less, might be 5. They're all minted by Scottsdale, which do a great job, as we all know. And our last coin today happens to be from Barbados, and it is another pelican. Fantastic. So as you can see, the Caribbean has a wealth of beautiful coins, and I find they're often overlooked, and I think that's a shame because a lot of the fun, the wonder of silver coins and things like that happen to do with, pirates and that cool theme of carrying big casks, big trunks of silver across the ocean, and this is where shipwrecks are and all that kind of stuff. So the Caribbean, I find, has a really, really cool lineage when it comes to silver coins, and has got just a beautiful and unique diversity that you don't find anywhere else. They don't really have a high premium, and they have probably one of the most vast selections when it comes to just small nations putting out a bunch of stuff, with the exception of a couple of Pacific islands like Niue and Tokelau. So that being said, if I were to start a series that I knew I could manage and collect every single year, I'd probably start with the EC8 series and go from there. Really, really fun series to collect, and it's manageable and it's high quality as it's a Scottsdale Mint product. But that is what I have from you today. So if there's nothing else, please remember to stay classy and current with the Culture of Currency.